welcome back to Pelican Circle, which is my channel. I hope you like this next video. I hope you subscribe. Please do. Today, well, I should say tonight because it's nighttime already. I'm going to give you a quick tutorial of the do's and don'ts on operating a forklift. Since I work at a trucking company and I have to load a lot of trailers, unload a lot of trailers nightly. And we see a lot of mistakes here. A lot of people do not know how to run or operate a forklift the correct way. So let's get started. Okay, now you're on the dock where I work. As you can see, there is freight all over the place. We got pallet jacks, a lot of empty trailers and trucks. And I'm going to show you some of the basics on forklifts. Now, the forklifts that we have here are not the propane. All we have is electric forklifts, which means when the batteries run dead, we have to plug them in every night. As you see, we have a couple plugged in now. Yes, we do carry, well, we do transport all kinds of freight, everything. For instance, look at this bucket. We ship these too. Sometimes we ship them to places that do not have docks. So it's a real pain in the butt to try to unload something like that without a dock, and they don't have a forklift to take it off. So, anyway, this is the forklift I'm going to be using for now. And normally before you use the forklift, you're actually supposed to do, you know, a visual inspection of the equipment you're going to use to make sure it's safe. Make sure the batteries are not leaking acid everywhere. Make sure the brakes are working on the thing. Make sure you got no hydraulic leaks. Because believe me, when these things have a hydraulic leak in a line, when you have a pallet on it, that pallet slams to the ground real fast. So, doing like a little visual inspection, what you should do. And I don't know, a lot of companies are different, but my company I'm with, their one requirement is their rule. We have to use the seat belts every time we use the forklift. And this is the forklift. All our forklifts have the three shifters, which one never works. One of them makes the fork blades go side to side when you're loading pallets in a trailer, so you want them close to the side wall as possible, but ours are not hooked up like that. And as you can see, it's in park, full battery. Now we got lights. Now I'm going to give you the basics here. You're supposed to seatbelt yourself when you get in. A lot of us, our forklifts have a shifter right on the column for forward and reverse and neutral. But this model, forward, reverse, I don't know if you can see that too well, but it's a toggle switch. The forward and reverse. And usually this left side one raises the blade. And the one in the middle tilts. And the one over here does not work because they don't have it hooked up to go side to side. So let's see, move this thing a little bit. And I'm going to put this right in the center for now. Give you a little demonstration. Do's and don'ts on the forklift. When you're driving your forklift around on a dock like this, the number one thing you do not do when you're driving a forklift, drive the forklift with your fork blades this high. Does anybody know the reason for that? Well, if you don't know, if you hit a person with this forklift at 5 miles an hour, or 10, however fast these things go, with that blade, well, I'm going to try to scoot down a little bit. Like, say it was higher, that blade can definitely go through a person and kill them. And you don't want that to happen. That blade will pierce your skin and will go through it. Another thing you do not do when you're around a forklift on a dock. Never be close to a forklift like this close when there's another person operating a forklift. I had my experience a few days ago where I was on the right side of the forklift, standing back here talking to the operator on the forklift. He had the thing in reverse with the wheels turned a little bit and ran over my foot. His wheel went completely over my boot. Now the boots I have are Red Wing boots, and they're steel toe, and I'm still thanking God right now that I had steel toe boots on, because if I didn't, these forklifts weigh about 5,000 to 7,000 pounds, or 9,000, whatever it is. They're real heavy, and I probably would have crushed all my toes. So, that is something you do not do when you're near a forklift. So this is not the correct way to drive a forklift on a dock with your blades that high. Never stand next to the wheels when there's somebody else operating the forklift, because if you don't have steel-toe boots on, that thing runs over your foot, you're going to be in the emergency room. This forklift, you have to actually sit on the seat in order to use the forks and to move this thing. Now, the correct way, the way you're supposed to operate a forklift on a dock, keep your fork blades at least that high off the ground. If they were any higher, you can go through somebody's chest, stomach, leg, kill them. But at least if it's down this low, you could lose an ankle and a foot, but at least you'll be alive. So that is something you do. Now, I'm trying to think what else I can show everybody. Oh yeah, another don't do thing on a forklift, which is experience that I've seen. It never happened to me, but I'm going to raise the blades all the way up. These blades can go really high on this one. This is a high lift one. As you can see, it's still up there. Another thing you do not do on a forklift, when you're operating it or somebody else is operating it, you never ever stand underneath these blades. Does anybody know the reason why in that? Why you do not stand under these blades? I'm not actually standing under it. It may look like that with the camera, but I'm not. And I'm going to show you. And right there's a piston. That's the piston that raises the forklift blades. And that's all run by hydraulic, and this is an electric forklift. Now, that line right there is a hydraulic line, which operates all the pistons for this forklift. And you'll see one right there, which is going to be kind of hard to see, but it goes right to the piston shaft, well, the bottom of the piston, so where it connects, right in there. If that line ever breaks, and I've seen one break, when the blades were half the height, I'll tell you one thing, those blades will slam to the ground as fast as they can, and if there is like, say, a 500-600 pound pallet on top of that, and you are under that pallet, you're dead. It will kill you. So this folks, is definitely a do not do thing when you operating a forklift. Don't operate it, like drive it with the blades up that high, with or without a pallet. It's extremely dangerous. Do not ever stand under one of these blades with or without a pallet on it, because if the hydraulics let go, you're going to be in a hospital in critical condition, or it could kill you. So that is definitely a do not do. Now you can see the operation on this thing. All run by hydraulics. Another thing you shouldn't do on a forklift. Normally in my company, we stack pallets and trailers like this, but even taller than this, taller than a forklift. Another thing you do not do, we load our pallets like this, sideways. We have to put them, they call it pinning them in the trailers, how we do it. Get the forks in the hole, like this. And now we're in. Raise it up, tilt it back. If you tilt it back, it prevents the pallet from falling forward if you hit the brakes hard. Now, I want to show you something what you should do on a dock. Doesn't matter the size of a pallet you have, how big, how heavy, etc. It doesn't matter. When you're on a dock, you should have your pallet about that height above the ground. At least 6 inches above the ground. That's just basically as high as you should keep it. And never, well, my company has a rule that if you get a pallet that blocks your vision, like as you can see, you won't be able to see me up there. You are not supposed to go forward, like drive forward with a forklift with a pallet that's blocking your vision. Because if somebody steps in front of you and you don't see them, you're going to hit them with the pallet. You will hit them with this pallet, and it's going to knock them over, and you're going to end up running them over with the forklift and causing serious injury. And with this forklift, there's 2 different size blades on it. So if you don't see somebody and you see that blade sticking out right there, folks, if somebody were to step in front of this pallet and the guy didn't see it, that pallet probably could sever your ankle in half. And that'll probably cost you your career, because you won't be able to work no more if you have an amputated foot. So this is something you should do. You're supposed to operate these backwards. If you cannot see in front of you, you should drive these things in reverse with a pallet that high. That is what you should do on a forklift. That's what you're actually supposed to do. You can't see forward, operate the machine in reverse. I mean, that's a great safety reason for your job, so your job don't fire you for being an idiot on a dock. And for two, you don't have to worry about, running somebody over that you can't see and putting them in a hospital or killing them. Hop back up in here. Now, this is the view from where I'm sitting. I cannot see anything that's in front of that pallet. So if I'm going forward with this pallet, I could actually hurt somebody if I hit them. Even if I lean out the side like this to see where I'm going, you still can't see if somebody steps in front, and you could really seriously injure them. So anyway, that's something you do not do on a forklift, is drive forward when you have a pallet that you cannot see in front of you. Always drive backwards. Another thing you do not do, what I explained a little earlier. You got the pallet up in the air like this. Right here, I don't know if you can see it all, but this right here is a hydraulic line. This hydraulic line keeps this piston with pressure to keep the pallet in the air. I've seen one of these lines break, and when they break, this whole pallet slams right to the ground. So what you do not ever do, and I stress this because people do get hurt doing this because they don't think. Now I got the camera at the view of my head, well actually my eyes right now, so I can basically see between the pallet. Something you do not ever do is go under the pallet, which I'm not going to do, because right now I'm the only one left at my job, and if I get hurt under this thing, I have no help and nobody's going to rescue me. They won't find me till the weekend's over. So, can you imagine the force of this pallet? Which these pallets are not light and they're not too heavy. I would say they're about maybe 500 pounds both together. Maybe 600. Plus the weight of the mask of the forklift. Never ever stand, crawl, or kneel underneath a pallet that's on a forklift that's high in the air like this. Never ever do that, because if you do, I'm going to put the camera up. What you're going to see if something happens is that pallet crashing on your head. And that will not stop until it hits the ground, which means if you're under that thing, you're definitely going to be hospitalized, or you're going to be gone. So that's something you do not do with a forklift. I'm trying to think of anything else I can give everybody a heads up on. Oh, another thing, when you're operating forklifts that are battery operated like these, every so often, put your hand on the battery case. If the battery case is cool, like this one is, the battery is good. If the battery is super hot, that means you have a defective battery. if it's super hot and you could smell a lot of battery acid, there's a potential that battery could just blow up right under you, or crack and leak acid everywhere because it's overheated, which means the batteries are very low on water or the battery's defective. Now I'm going to walk down here and I'm going to show you a forklift that has a crappy battery, which overheats a lot. And I'm going to show you what they look like. This is one of them. As you can see, all that corrosion and that white crap right there is acid. It's all battery acid. This battery tends to overheat a lot and doesn't want to work. I'll try to give you another view. It's all white crap right there. That's battery acid. And every so often when it overheats, it starts leaking. And the smell, you do not want to be next to one of these batteries when they are overheated and all you smell is the battery acid fumes coming from the battery. It will definitely make you sick. And that's a chemical too, so it could probably damage your lungs. Like for instance, look at this battery. I don't know if you can see it well. That's all battery acid. I'm standing next to one that's plugged in, and this battery is really warm, which means this thing's either low on water or this battery is defective, because this case is really warm. And this plus is charging, so I'm not going to mess with that right now. A little bit of light, you'll see what I'm talking about with the acid. This is all corrosion and battery acid, because this battery, as you can see, leaked. This is another battery that's kind of defective. It would overheat when charging, and it would spew the water out. And look at this. This battery is no good. It's junk. You can see all the crap coming out. And remember, if them things are overheated and you smell that battery acid, if they're overheated and you smell that battery acid, the thing you should do is either, if you have a mechanic at your company, let the mechanic know right away, or tell your boss, because that battery acid is going to get you sick. Believe me, at one of these trailers, about a year and a half ago, we were loading one of these trailers, or unloading, and a whole pallet of batteries tipped over and smashed on the floor of one of the trailers. So what happened, it was a hazmat situation. Nobody could go inside that trailer because of the fumes. It had a heavy smell of acid fumes from these batteries. And it almost put 4 of us in the hospital trying to clean up the mess and get the rest of the freight out. It was horrible. And it really made you sick. We were sick for days after that. But you don't ever want to be around one of these batteries when they're like that, because they'll definitely get you sick. And like I said, it's chemicals in there too. It's acid, so these chemicals can probably mess up your lungs or your sinuses, vice versa. But either way, it's going to get you sick. So again, never stand under any forklift with a pallet that high in the air, because if that thing lets go, you know where you're gonna go. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. I don't know if I helped anybody out a lot with this tutorial of the do's and don'ts on a forklift, but if I had any good information for you that actually help you with forklifts, leave me a comment in the comment box. just go down there and just leave me a comment if, you know, I gave you some good advice on forklifts. But remember, don't ever keep your blades high. That's as high as you should keep your fork blades when you are driving forward on a forklift. And you never want to go too fast, because a lot of times, depending on what the weather is, this concrete dock that we have here, the dock will sweat. If it's been really cold and it gets warm the next day, the dock will sweat, and it'll be like you're on a skating rink. These forklifts won't stop, they won't turn. It would just be a nightmare. That's another problem we have here. Now when you're going to shut your forklift down for the night, make sure your blades are all the way on the ground. The light switch. Make sure you shut the lights off so you don't kill the battery. This one has the key thing to shut off, so you just shut it off. And you're done with the forklift. This one you don't have to worry about a parking brake, because this is this has automatic brake on it. When you get off the forklift, it will not move. The ones with the toggle switches like this. Now I'm going to show you the difference. Remember, always keep your forks down when you're not in the forklift. One, it helps the forklift not to move on you, and people will not trip or slam their ankle into the fork blade. Okay, I'm sorry about that, folks. Probably something happened, my camera blocked right out on me. I don't know if my batteries get low or not. Anyway, you get back to this. Right here is your emergency brake on these models of forklifts. When you're done operating a forklift, you're supposed to push these in, which the operator didn't do on this one. This way the forklift does not roll because it does not have an automatic braking system. I think that should be about it. And when you're done with the forklift at your job, you're supposed to do an inspection on the equipment you were using. This way, if there's any problems, you can address it with your boss, and hopefully they get it fixed. So anyway, I think that's going to be it for my tutorial. I'm going to try to place this camera down so I can actually see all my people on YouTube. So anyway, that's my tutorial on forklifts. The do's and don'ts on how to operate a forklift and what you need to watch out for, basically. Most of it's common sense, but some people don't have common sense, and those are the ones you're going to watch out for. So, I hope you liked the video. I hope you learned a couple things from the video. Go ahead, hit that like button. At the bottom, subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel. It would be a gift. So like, subscribe, and if you want, hit the bell. This way you get notified when the next video comes out, which is going to be coming out in a few more days. And I guess that's it for tonight, because I'm going to go punch out and I'm going home. So peace, everybody. Hope you learned something. Remember, like, subscribe, hit that bell. Peace. And thanks for watching Pelican Circle.